Before you can manage people, you have to learn how to manage yourself. We talk a lot about leadership skills, but we don't talk enough about self leadership. And leadership isn't just about what we do, it's about how you regulate yourself. And what I need you to understand is that you are always leading something. It might be your littles, it might be your pets, it might be people at work. You or are always leading something. It might even in this season just be yourself. But I really want us to talk about what that means. And the boldest thing that you can do isn't being vulnerable with others. It's first being vulnerable with yourself. And I was scrolling through, I don't want to say scrolling, but I was reading through my journals from 2023 yesterday, and just the raw emotion that was coming out of that journal just reminded me of my leadership journey and how different it was back then. And so that was one of the very first things I had to learn. And thank goodness I had a leader who cared so much about personal development because he understood that personal development equaled professional development. And if you haven't had an opportunity to be in any type of leadership development training, that's not unusual. Come to find out that it is imperative to first personal develop to one invest in personal development, and also how that personal development can absolutely impact your professional development. And so he spent a lot of time with me early on in this my leadership develop in my personal development that took my leadership development leaps and bounds. And so I want us to think about how truly honest we've been with ourselves. Or have we been avoiding asking and paying attention to what really needs to be addressed? And so a lot of us stay busy, productive, or impressive. And that might be a little bit of a shock because that was me. I have a hand in that bag for sure. Staying busy with everything over here. So I didn't have to focus on what was going on in here. And while something deeper is going on, we spend time ignoring that. We spend time overperforming. We spend time with distractions, and we fall and we keep allowing ourselves to operate within these old patterns, dressed up as leadership. But I'm sure you understand that, whether you're leading people or you're leading yourself, okay, whatever you avoid eventually will lead you. Okay. I'm sure all of us have heard that before. Okay. We cannot, we cannot tamp down, press down things that traumas, things that go unaddressed, and they stay hidden. They're always going to spill out, and they're going to show up in your reactions. They're going to show up in your need for control. They're going to show up in burnout. And so we got to get off the wall. We have to get off the wall. And in this season, it requires us to get off the wall. And if you haven't received leadership training, at this stage in the game, whether you're a new leader or a seasoned leader, and you have just been kind of gleaning from people over time. You've seen people, lead, and you might have liked their style of seeing or have seen things that have worked for people. And so maybe you've kind of added that to your repertoire. And so you've never really had formal leadership training. That's okay. That's not your fault. But what we are going to do is we are going to take time and we are going to address what's going on inside, because whether you're new in your journey, you've been in leadership for a long period of time. In order for us to build a strong foundation of leadership and leading others, we first have to learn how to manage ourselves. If we're leading a team, whether that's big or small, or even leading ourselves, whatever we see outside of us and it's being reflected back at us, that is a product of who we are inside. Okay. So we're getting off the wall today. And that means we're going to figure out what that looks like and be willing to take a look inside. We're going to turn the looking glass inward. And another thing that my leader helped me understand is that confidence comes from courage. It's not the other way around. Confidence comes from courage and stepping out and doing something and going for, personal development, addressing those hard things. And so self-leadership always comes first. Okay. And so what I want you guys to understand is, I know this is a little bit of a different video, but all of this ties in as far as the rejection, the self-acceptance, getting to know yourself. Because as we go on this journey together, if we don't know who we are, and especially if we don't address the things that are hiding in our closet, we keep performing our top 10 greatest hits because we refuse to address the things that are going on within us, the quiet storms that plague us at night, that live within our body. Then we are never going to be able to potentially lead if you're not already leading, or see the results of the team that we might already be leading. So I just kind of want to start us off there and invite you to do the work. ChatGPT is great. And so ChatGPT has been helping me navigate some of my key principles, key values that I stand on. And if we might think that that's easy to be able to explain, and kind of a side note, in this dating climate, you're especially speed dating and things like that, you're answering a lot of questions. And so in order for you to be able to find a mate that's aligned, you really need to be able to, if that's what you're looking for, you really need to be able to articulate what your values are, what key principles you stand on, and be able to ask those questions. So then you can really understand, are you aligned? Do you really want to align yourself with this person? So ChatGPT has really been helping in this part of my life. And so this is what really sparked a lot of this kind of conversation, and then reading my journal from 2023 and just seeing the raw emotion and remembering what my leadership journey really looked like. And having this leader was not the start of my leadership journey. This is what was about maybe 4 or 5 years into it. So it took all of that time before I actually had a leader who cared about personal and professional development to start cracking that shell. And so I am a product of understanding what it really means to do the hard work, dive deep to understand how when you start to uncover those deep, dark wounds that we thought have healed, or maybe there's still some remnants of it, that we sit down, we address it, because there might be times that there might be times we react, we say things, we have these unconscious biases that we don't even realize that we have until we start leading people, and then they come out of nowhere and we're surprised by them. But when we do the hard work, when we start to understand who we are at our core, and we understand and know how to manage ourselves, managing others, I don't want to say managing, because leading others becomes not easy, but the path becomes so much more clear. So I'm going to leave you with that today. And I just want to say thank you for being here. You are capable. You are wonderful. Lead yourself well so you can serve others better. And we will talk soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.